For more on this, we're now being joined by Dua Tariq. She's joining us live from Khartoum. She's an artist and co-founder of Color Sudan. Thank you so much for joining us on WION, Ms. Tariq.
Thank you so much for reaching and covering.
Right, now you're joining us live from Khartoum, which is one of the war zones in the country. What is the on-ground situation like in Khartoum as of now?
Right now, I live 15 minutes away from the military headquarters and 10 minutes away from one of the RSF camps and 5 minutes away from the first point where the fight first occurred 4 days ago. I'm in the middle of 3 hot areas for fighting, and all we hear 24 hours is gunshots. Right now, since yesterday, we've been hearing anti-aircraft shooting, and just 30 minutes ago, my neighborhood was bombed, and there is a footage of 3 people who were killed on the street. We're still trying to identify them.
Right, Ms. Tariq, also talk to us about the humanitarian situation in Sudan. How are the hospitals coping with the number of people who have been killed? The death toll is at least 200 as of now.
The hospitals are not coping, as you mentioned previously. Some of the hospitals being bombed and attacked. Some of the hospital lacks medical supplies and medical personnel. Some of the hospital was controlled by the RSF, especially the ones next to my where I live here, next to their camp, 2 main hospitals. And the other hospitals are unable to provide any medical help. Medical personnel and doctors been sending out calls for help and support. The roads are still unsafe for people to reach hospital. The numbers of casualties are not realistic because there is, as you mentioned, so many people cannot reach hospitals, and there are so many people also dying in the streets and in their houses without people even trying to take them to hospitals. People are traumatized, frightened, unable to leave their houses.
Right, we do know that what was supposed to be a 24-hour ceasefire lasted for just a few minutes, and there are no signs of a real abatement of the fighting taking place in Sudan. What lies ahead for the country, in your perspective?
The country is going to a really bad place right now, because if the ceasefire doesn't stop, people started getting out of food and water and medicine also. There is no supply. The supermarket started closing down, and people are now, we're entering a very delicate and sensitive phase of people will now starve, and the main water pumps of Khartoum are being bombed. So so many places that out of water for 2 to 3 days right now. My neighborhood is also starting to get out of water, and also most of the supermarkets in my neighborhood and grocery shops are closed right now, and it's very bad.
Right. My last question to you, Ms. Tariq. Are there any signs of the 2 generals willing to end the conflict or talk anytime soon?
No. All the statements are just clashing and clashing back. It's just it's very scary and terrifying. We cannot trust them because they say they're the truth, that the ceasefire, and then there isn't, and then they put conditions to stop ceasefire, which is impossible because and also we're hearing this scary news about Hemeti losing so many of the communication with his leaders on the ground, which is very dangerous for everybody because the RSF occupies most of East Khartoum, where I live.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Tariq, for joining us in WION and sharing your insights with us. We'll, of course, be tracking the story very closely. Thanks very much.